marshmallow. There in oh so shallow. There in dead Los Angeles. In dead Los Angeles. They dressed up Harold Lloyd. He got his glasses on. He never climbed the clock. It was a HULDRA plot. The lunar base camp there with burning midnight lamp. They called it Frisbee Land. It's just a Disneyland. Enjoy the Americans. Live in the ruins there in dead Los Angeles. In dead Los Angeles. They dressed up Harold Lloyd. He got his glasses on. He never climbed the clock. It was a HULDRA plot.
Hi, Julie and Joseph. So you guys are here to recreate 1923's Safety Last. Julie, aren't you the great-granddaughter of the cinematographer for Harold Lloyd?
Actually, yes. My family's from Chicago, and when my great-grandfather Walter Lundeen met Harold Lloyd, he became his cinematographer.
I'm actually a great fan of your great-grandfather's cinematography. He was really skilled at capturing the visual sight gag.
Yes, my family is very proud of our achievements.
I'm particularly interested in knowing how the clock tower scene was filmed. Do you have any insight on how that was filmed?
Yeah, I actually have our presentation here on how we did it. So basically, we set up a special set right on top of 908 South Broadway.
Mr. Joseph Hearst, aren't you related to William Randolph Hearst from Citizen Kane? Julie, I need to hear how you would want to film it.
I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to disclose. It's a family secret.
Lloyd actually built a special set on top of 950 South Broadway.
Mr. Hearst, do not interrupt me. If you want this permit, Julie has to be the one that explains how it's done.
I can't do that.
Well, Julie, by refusing to respond, you're only going to further the controversy we have in the film community.
I'm sorry, but it's a family secret. I can't do that.
Julie, if you can't tell me how it's done, I'm not going to approve your application.
As you can see, the concluding shot was filmed atop 908 South Broadway.
Okay, Mr. Hearst, since you so gallantly defend Julie here, and you seem to know how it was done, I'll grant you the film application.
Joseph, how do you plan on recreating the clock tower scene from Safety Last? My family tells me that my great-grandfather, Walter Lundeen, was unable to film using normal 1920s special effects.
Well, I researched how it was done from articles I studied. I'm gonna try to recreate it in downtown Los Angeles using the same camera effects if I can.
Joseph, I'm a film student. What is your major?
Well, I'm getting my degree in anthropology, but my passion is for my minor in poetry. I love songs by the band The Cure. I feel like their lyrics are really poetic.
I love The Cure too. My favorite song is Pictures of You. Do you know the lyrics?
I've been looking so long at these pictures of you that I almost believe that they're real.
I've been living so long with my pictures of you that I almost believe that the pictures are all I can feel.
You are bigger and brighter and wider than snow and screamed at the make-believe.
And you finally found your courage to let it all go.
Crying for the death of your heart. You were stone white, so delicate.
Lost in the cold. You were always lost in the dark, remembering you how you used to be.
Julie, are you afraid of being with me?
I'm afraid of being with anyone. The women in my family have a secret. It makes it impossible for us to be with anyone.
Well, I have to tell you, I like you. A lot. I only went with you to the film office to impress you. I'm really not a film major. But I booked a camera and props.
Joseph, I'm glad you know Cure lyrics, but you're no film major. I'm the film major. And the clock tower scene can't be done. And I can't get involved with you. The women in my family have problems with romance. Let me explain about my family. Back in the 1920s, my great-grandmother was married to Walter Lundeen. Walter Lundeen was always around Harold Lloyd. Lloyd was having an affair with my grandmother during the filming of Safety Last.
She had an affair with Harold Lloyd? But what does that have to do with you and I? I know he can't recite Cure lyrics like I can.
My family has a secret that we brought with us from Sweden back when we emigrated to America. The women in my family are descended from a HULDRA. My great-grandmother was a HULDRA.
The HULDRA. You know, I think I remember reading about that in my mythology class. Something to do with Nordic folklore?
Yes, the HULDRA has supernatural powers. In ancient Sweden, she protected the forests. My grandmother has powers. Whenever a HULDRA is kissed, she turns from human into HULDRA.
Alright, hold on a second. HULDRAs don't really exist. That's pure superstition. There's literally no evolutionary data to back that up.
HULDRAs do exist, and they have supernatural powers. My great-grandmother turned into a HULDRA, turned invisible, floated in the air, and was able to pick Harold Lloyd up and hang him from the clock tower.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe this. I don't think that's how it was filmed. I mean, it was filmed with special camera angles. And why would your great-grandfather allow his wife to have an affair with Harold Lloyd?
Hollywood stars have affairs all the time. And since she was a HULDRA, their relationship was really difficult. It was impossible for them to have a normal marriage.
Julia, I really don't believe this. To me, it sounds more like you have some kind of hang-up about relationships.
I'm not making this up. Special effects were not developed enough in 1923. Harold Lloyd conspired with my great-grandfather, used my great-grandmother as the HULDRA, and lifted him up.
That may be true, but I have my own secret to tell you. Julie, I'm in love with you.
And I have my own secret. Just like my grandmother, I too am a HULDRA.
As you can see, we're walking south from the Rialto Theater. There used to be a 2-story building here at 842 South Broadway.
Doing this is a waste of time. Harold Lloyd made all of this up as a cover to cover up the fact that my great-grandmother was a HULDRA.
You're basing this all on mythology. Open your eyes. There's the Orpheum Theater on the side of 820 South Broadway.
My great-grandmother turned into a HULDRA and lifted Harold Lloyd up onto that clock tower.
Yeah. Harold Lloyd had a secret, alright? He wanted to conceal from the public how the film was made in order to maximize his own profits for the film.
Every third-generation female in my family is born a HULDRA. It's our Nordic-Swedish curse.
Julie, if you want to believe all this stuff about HULDRAs, that's fine. I'll still like you.
I wouldn't like me too much. Just like my great-grandmother, I too am a HULDRA.
Let's talk about this later.
You recreated all the old props?
Yeah, I used a ladder to get all the right camera angles for the shot.
That'll never work. This isn't aligned properly.
You know, honestly, I think you might be right.
If I wanted to, I could float up right there, just like my grandmother did in 1923.
Well, how the hell can you do that?
Whenever I get romantic, I become a HULDRA.
So if I kiss you, we'll float up to the clock tower and be able to recreate the scene?
And then we'll have the scene.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so that one then.
I'm bleeding!
I'm so hungry. Cookies are so good at the movie. So do you understand now a little bit about how Harold Lloyd was able to get assistance from my grandmother?
Well, if your great-grandmother was a HULDRA and she held Harold Lloyd aloft, it probably wasn't visible on the movie screen. You know, it probably happened the same way that you held me up to the clock tower.
Harold Lloyd knew what he was doing. He planned this professionally. Safety Last was the highest grossing film in 1923.
You know, Harold Lloyd was competing against all the stars of the silent era. Charlie Chaplin, probably Buster Keaton.
To this day, it's still a secret that he used my grandmother.
Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford moved to Hollywood. Buster Keaton, Greta Garbo, Harold Lloyd, they could. Gloria Swanson, Douglas Fairbanks, and Louise Brooks. Clara Bow and Valentine. climb the clock in safety last. Number one worldwide in 1923. Was it done with effects or another way? To this day, we don't know. Hollywood mystery.
But what just happened at the rooftop? I kissed you, and you changed. You were almost invisible, and time was going backwards.
When I'm a HULDRA, the laws of time and gravity cease to exist. It starts when I'm kissed, and it ends after a few minutes, and I lose a lot of blood, and then I need food to replenish myself.
But how do you turn almost invisible? There has to be some kind of scientific explanation.
It's so embarrassing. It happens anytime I'm kissed.
But it doesn't fit with the traditional mythology of the HULDRA in the forests of Sweden.
I need to be romantic just like you. But the women in my family might be born as a HULDRA. It's a secret we live with.
It's gotta be passed on through your family's DNA. You're part human, part supernatural being.
I've never had a physical relationship. I've never even had sex.
Julie, I love you, and I want to help you deal with this, but how is it that you become almost invisible and I can still touch you?
HULDRAs in America have evolved differently. In Sweden, we would just hide in the forest.
In anthropology, we study the origins of mythology, and they're usually contrary to natural science.
In Sweden, the forest HULDRAs would climb up a tree to survive. Here in urban cities, we turn invisible and float in the air.
2 billion years of evolution teaches us that humans evolved from lower primates. Somehow HULDRAs have to be a part of that.
HULDRAs in Sweden were very different from me. They had a tail and a hole in their back, much like in the bark of a tree.
All myths can be explained. You being a HULDRA can probably be traced back to your family's DNA.
In Nordic culture, when the HULDRAs were discovered, they would hide by wearing ragged dresses. Tell me the lyrics to another Cure song. Do you know Just Like Heaven?
Show me, show me, show me how to do that trick. The one that makes me scream, she said.
Show me how you do it, and I promise that, I'll run away with you. I'll run away with you.
Spinning on the dizzy edge, I kissed her face and kissed her head.
Why are you so far away, she said. Why won't you ever know that I love you, that I love you?
You soft and only, you lost and lonely.
You're just like a dream. You're just like a dream.
Daylight licked me into shape. I must have been asleep for days.
And found myself alone, above a raging sea that stole the only girl I loved and drowned her deep inside of me.
You soft and only, you lost and lonely, you just like heaven. You know, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell just happened at the rooftop on the clock tower. It seemed like we were in outer space, with some kind of cosmic event revolving around us.
Yeah, when I become a HULDRA, the universe's rotation is exhibited. The Earth, the moon around the sun, the Earth around the sun. I'm not really sure how it happens.
Yeah, and I saw other cosmic rotations moving through the galaxy. Must have something in connection to you becoming a HULDRA.
Yeah, I can't really explain it. It just happens every time. I'm hungry. Let's go get food.
Chocolate flavored marshmallows on chocolate in your tray. With chocolate flavored marshmallows on
Sister, I have a boyfriend. His name is Joseph. We have a film class together.
Julie, you are my sister. You cannot be with a man. You are a HULDRA. You cannot live peacefully in a marriage with a human.
You are not a HULDRA. You don't understand how difficult it is to be alone.
Yes, I do understand. Our great-grandmother was the last HULDRA in our family. It is a curse against our religion.
I'm not a Christian like you. I'm a HULDRA. And he loves me, and I love him.
Nothing good will come of this. As the church is subject unto Christ, let the wives be to their husbands in everything.
I have to try to be with him.
Wives, submit yourselves upon your husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is head of the church.
If we're gonna be together, you have to tell me more about how a HULDRA can have sex.
Okay, so this is hard for me, but the only way to stop the bleeding is to have sex within the 3 minutes that I am a HULDRA.
You mean while we're floating in the air and almost invisible? How can our bodies connect? It seems impossible.
We have to do it within those 3 minutes. I only ovulate before I start bleeding.
Julie, when I'm touching you, time and gravity go backwards. I can't even remember exactly what I'm doing.
This is how a HULDRA experiences seduction. You have to have sex with me within these 3 minutes.
Well, I can understand why you'd want to avoid having sex. I mean, 3 minutes, it's not exactly a long time.
This is how my great-grandmother became pregnant. It's the only way. But if I do get pregnant, I stop becoming a HULDRA for 9 months. You are the great-grandson of William Randolph Hearst. You have a room in San Simeon?
Oh yeah, I live up at Hearst Castle in San Simeon. It's a private bedroom. We can go up there right now.
I'm afraid that you will kiss me. The view in here is beautiful. Since you're an anthropology major, how do you switch so quickly from science to the Cure lyrics?
Do you know the lyrics to Three Imaginary Boys?
Walk across the garden, in the footsteps of my shadow. See the lights out, no one's home.
in amongst the statues, stare at nothing in. The garden moves. Can you help me?
Close my eyes and hold so tightly, scared of what morning brings, waiting for tomorrow never comes.
Deep inside, the empty feeling, all the nighttime leaves me. 3 imaginary boys.
Slipping through the door, hear my heartbeats in the hallway, echoes, round and round inside my head.
Drifting up the steps, I see the stairs disappearing. Can you help me?
Sit down. Work the shadows and I must you.
I'm bleeding. I'm so hungry. Every time I become a Huldra, I'm so famished after. But I love watching the flags here in the plaza.
Julie, being with you is the craziest experience I've ever had.
I've never been able to do this with anyone before. I've always been so shy about being a Huldra.
There's got to be some kind of explanation about why this happens to you.
It's not passed down through every generation of my family. My mother and grandmother weren't Huldras.
But how could your great-grandmother have had children if she menstruated blood every time she became a Huldra?
There is a way for a Huldra to have sex, but I'm uncomfortable talking about it. Our origins go back 3,000 years in Scandinavia.
You know, in anthropology, we study how humans evolved. I think the Huldra resulted from thousands of years of breeding with humans and evolved with humanity.
Back when Christianity came to Sweden, the men started marrying the Huldras. That's when Huldras and humans started procreating.
That may explain why kissing you transforms you into a Huldra, but why is it that you become almost invisible and you float with no gravity?
I don't know. This didn't happen to ancient Huldras. This has only happened to my family since we emigrated to America.
I really don't think that the Huldra is related to American patriotism.
Mythology always has its roots in the ancient fears and hopes of ancient cultures.
The first writings about Huldras were in the Viking runes. There's no record before that.
Ancient legends like the Huldra were common in pre-Christian pagan times.
The Huldra was known before mermaids and sirens, but when Christianity came to Europe, the Huldra was banned as evil.
Yeah, you know, patriarchal cultures suppressed female mythologies like the Huldra long before Christianity even existed.
Men feared the Huldra. She would drain the life force of anyone that harmed the forest and leave their bodies in the husk of a tree.
Why do you keep looking at the flags? Are you patriotic?
I like coming to look at the flags. I am an American Huldra.
Oh, say, can you see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Mr. Hurst, I see you're here for your follow-up appointment. So, how did you film the scene from Safety Last?
Well, it's a little difficult to explain. Essentially, Julie, she's not your normal girl. She can do things that other humans can't.
What the hell are you saying?
I don't know how to explain it, man, but there's more than meets the eye. You know, I was raised up by Julie to the clock tower, and we were floating, and it just happened when I kissed her. We flew up to the clock tower.
Wait. So you're here to waste my time, all right? There's a way to do this. If you don't want to tell me, make something up. But that your girlfriend's a flying monster that brought you up to the clock tower, I'm gonna need something better than that.
That's all I got, man.
That's all you got. And she's not here. That's convenient, don't you think?
Yeah, I can see how it might look kind of weird, but, you know, we did it. We did it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did it. But what I'm not buying is the magical nonsense. So you did it. We're there. We're on the same level. Where you're losing me is where she magically floated you up somewhere, all right? Because I don't know what I can do. If you don't tell me how I can get this right, your application's worthless.
It's very difficult to live with a Huldra. It's almost impossible to have a relationship with us.
Then you could be hugged and kissed for 9 months.
Yeah, but when the baby is born, we go back to being a normal Huldra. Joseph, before I met you, I was afraid of being touched in any romantic way.
Julie, I'm in love with you. I want to touch and kiss you.
In Sweden, Christians believe that if a man married the Huldra in the church, she could have sex.
I don't think that Huldras are evil. We're genetically evolved as humans.
The Huldra is a beautiful, elegant woodland creature. She would never hurt a living thing unless otherwise provoked.
Reminds me of another The Cure song, The Perfect Girl.
You're such a strange girl. I think you come from another world. You're such a strange girl. I really don't understand a word.
You're such a strange girl, the way you look like you do. You're such a strange girl. I want to be with you.
You're such a strange girl. I'd like to shake you around and around. You're such a strange girl, I'd like to turn you all upside down.
I think I'm falling in love with you. With you.
I like pop. Makes me wanna stop everything I'm doing, even when I'm gluing. I like pop. None of this hardcore slop. Sometimes when I crack, and those heavy metal saps.
I want you to live a happy life. Ja, es ist nicht hoch wie man hinwacken. Wie der Lille rap. There's no man spell game books got it. And these another stall beer and birth on there. Here's good way. There's sharp system.
Lord, we now move. Oh Lord, the great fleet line needs another slow. One. It was there.
You see him. Well, he will let our fish.
Where's my kid? Sit down there. I'm going to sit down. I'm bleeding.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out.
Sister? Sister? Hi. How are you? I'm good. This is Joseph, the boy I was telling you about.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hi, Joseph.
What's your name?
I'm Julie's sister.
Julie's
Is
sister.
this the boy you told me about?
Yes, you'd love him. Sit down with us. Have a drink.
Are you kidding me? What are you doing with him?
I told you that we were hanging out.
And I told you that you couldn't be with a human.
I mean, if you just meet him, if you just talk to him, you'd understand. I don't think you don't understand where I'm coming from.
But you're a HULDRA. You can't be happy with a human.
You're wrong.
I'm a pretty nice guy.
It's not about you. She's a HULDRA. She can't be with a human.
Human? What do you mean by a human?
Why would you do this? Why would you come here?
Because you can't be happy with a human.
You're
Pet,
wrong.
you're a HULDRA.
You're wrong. I'm so hungry. I'm really glad we got to eat here.
You know, I'd like to talk to you about how evolution works. How animals have evolved just like the HULDRA has adapted to survive.
What am I, just an anthropology study to you?
Well, you know, the HULDRA's ability to make themselves invisible, it's almost like different species of invertebrates.
A HULDRA can float deep into endless caves to suck the life out of any man.
You know, insects have evolved similar adaptations to float in the air, just like the HULDRA.
A HULDRA reacts based on how you treat her, either with respect or cruelty.
The mythology of the HULDRA was created by pagans. They didn't understand the scientific origin of things.
When Christianity came to Scandinavia, the HULDRA could no longer keep her forest secret.
That indicates that modern HULDRAs are evolved, probably from marrying and breeding with humans.
HULDRAs were said to steal human babies and replace them with their own.
HULDRAs evolved just like humans. And the main thing that distinguishes us from primates is our opposable thumbs.
Turn that bell, squeeze a gun, Princess Frail, my possible thumb, hanging song, ordering song, this is more, opposable thumb, opposable thumb, opposable thumb, opposable thumb, opposable thumb. Princess stand or bend the lot. There's one per hand. My possible thumb. Little black corner, one in front. Says the corner, use a possible thumb. A possible thumb, a possible thumb, a possible thumb, a possible thumb. Ride a bike, drink some rum, and hitchhike. My possible thumb. Turn that bell, squeeze a gun. Mrs. Frail, my possible thumb. A possible thumb, my possible thumb, a possible thumb, my possible thumb.
Joseph, I want to be with you, but It's impossible for us to think we can have a normal life together.
Julie, I want to be with you too, but I'm not sure I can do it.
My family raised me to think that I'm always going to be alone.
You know, I think we're both compatible enough to try to stay together.
Huldras rarely have sex. When we do, we get pregnant every time.
You know, Huldras must have evolved for survival instinct if you get pregnant every time you have sex. Please, I want to kiss you. I think we're both compatible enough to try to stay together.
Huldras rarely have sex, and when we do, we always get pregnant.
I want to be with you, Joseph, but I don't think it's possible.
Julie, I want to be with you too, but I'm not sure I can do it.
My family always raised me to be alone.
I'm hungry.
Hey, you look kind of pale. You know, you really should eat something, especially because of all the bleeding.
The only way to stop the bleeding is by having sex while I'm still a Huldra.
Hey, we should go up to my mansion up at Hearst. You know, we could be alone there.
Yes, I'd love to go with you. We can drive up.
All right, but no sex until we get there.
I have another secret to tell you about my family. My great-grandfather, Walter Lundeen, committed suicide because he couldn't handle being married to a Huldra.
He committed suicide? Because she was a Huldra? That's terrible.
It's very difficult to cope with being married to a Huldra. We're not human. We're creatures from the forests of Sweden.
Well, to only have sex for 3 minutes while you're floating in the air, it would drive any man crazy.
The good part is, once we become pregnant, we don't become a Huldra again until the baby is born.
You know what? I don't care that your great-grandfather killed himself. I just want to take you up to Hearst Castle.
Joseph, so do I. Could you please stop gawking at those women?
Sorry, I look at women from an anthropology point of view. You know, it's actually taught me a lot about science.
I know I'm not like other women, but it's not my fault.
I got it from my family.
Yeah, I understand. You know, you being a Huldra and everything.
My family has put all this guilt on me. Are you looking at those girls in bikinis?
I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that your great-grandfather committed suicide because he was married to a Huldra.
My family said the pressure got to him, being a Hollywood cinematographer and trying to hide the fact that his wife was a Huldra.
Are you sure his suicide didn't have something more to do with the fact that she had an affair with Harold Lloyd?
Harold Lloyd knew she was a Huldra. Hollywood stars are always attracted to eccentric people.
Are you sure maybe there wasn't some kind of jealousy between Walter Lundeen and Harold Lloyd?
Actually, I think it had more to do with the danger that comes with being married to a Huldra. We prey on men who betray us. Are you looking at those girls?
You know, when Christianity invaded Europe, the Catholic Church suppressed any female symbols of power.
Huldras were forced to marry men. They would take them into churches and force them into Christianity through marriage.
But you're different. Your family isn't like the ancient Huldras.
When we moved to America, my family adapted to living in a big city rather than, the forests.
You know, you could move time up or slow it down, even move it backwards. I guess that lets you survive in urban environments.
I'm getting upset. You keep looking at those girls in bikinis.
Sister, you were right. Joseph does not love me. He's been flirting with other women and cheating on me.
My sweet sister Julie, your life is cursed forever as a Huldra. I told you can never be with a man. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious, angry woman.
I'm afraid he doesn't love me because I'm a Huldra. What should I do?
Yes, he may expose you and cause great danger to you. You must do what your great-grandmother did to Walter Lundeen. If the marriage bed undefiled, whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
My Huldra instincts are making me feel great violence towards him.
Julie, next time he kisses you and you become Huldra, you must kill him. End this now. And if a woman shall put away her husband, she committeth adultery.
expounding the virtues of Crest. He smirks. It's the wasp, idolized by asswives. It's the wasp, concealing his stripes. His toothpaste is askew, his member is mildew, his comma is overdrawn, his brain is expired. Behind the Formica desk, he lurks, expanding the virtues of Crest. He smirks. It's the wasp, idolized by asswives. It's the wasp, concealing his stripes. It's the wasp, idolized by asswives. It's the wasp, concealing his stripes.
isn't just you or me. Never been a rarity. People are funny. People are funny. More and more every day. Some can even speak Malay. All you can do is pray. People are funny. People are funny. Just you or me. Never been a rarity. People are funny. People are funny. Ha ha.
friends with my neighbors next door, but